It's Thursday, 4 April. Welcome to the PDB Afternoon Bulletin. I'm Mike Baker, your eyes and ears on the world stage. Let's get briefed. First, Israeli and U.S. military forces are hardening defenses and warning troops to brace for possible retaliation from Iran over Monday's airstrikes on the regime's consulate in Syria. They killed several senior Iranian commanders who were responsible for providing guidance, support, and weapons to their proxy, Hezbollah. Also, as Iran hurls threats of revenge at Israel and the U.S., the Islamic regime is facing their own internal threats from Sunni Muslim militants who recently launched a deadly attack on Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. But first, our afternoon spotlight. Israel and the U.S. are placing their troops on alert and making preparations for a possible escalation in violence with Iran, as the regime vowed to retaliate after their consulate in Syria was hit in a suspected Israeli airstrike on Monday, killing 2 Iranian generals and several military advisors. The Israeli military moved to indefinitely halt leave for all combat units on Thursday in anticipation of an Iranian response, and drafted reservists to boost their aerial defenses. Israel also began disrupting GPS services in Tel Aviv and other cities on Thursday in an effort to protect residents from possible guided missile attacks. There's growing concern that Iran may choose Friday to mount a retaliation, as it would mark the final Friday in the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Critically, it is also Iranian Quds Day, or Jerusalem Day, which is used to voice support for Palestinians in opposition to Israel and political Zionism. Amos Yadlin, a former Israeli intelligence chief, told Reuters, quote, "I will not be surprised if Iran will act tomorrow," meaning Friday, and then, depending on the consequences of the attack, it may escalate, end quote. The fallout from Monday's strike has been swift, with Iranian leaders promising revenge against Israel on Tuesday, while also saying they hold the U.S. directly responsible. The strike leveled part of the regime's consulate in Damascus, a significant development, given that diplomatic targets are usually avoided, even between warring parties. While Israel has not publicly commented on the strike, a senior Israeli government official told Reuters that those targeted had been behind attacks on Israel and America and were planning further attacks. Regional observers have warned that the strike could bring Israel and Iran into direct conflict. Despite the heightened risk for escalation, officials suspect that for now, any Iranian response will likely be carried out through their network of proxies, such as Hezbollah in Lebanon or the Houthis in Yemen. With that in mind, U.S. military leaders warned troops in the Middle East on Thursday that they may be targeted once again by Iran and its proxies. The U.S. communicated to Iranian leaders on Monday that the U.S. had no knowledge of Israel's planned operation. However, the Iranian regime still claims that the U.S. is equally to blame. Lieutenant General Alexis Grinkwich, a top commander with the U.S. Air Force, told Fox News, quote, "I'm concerned because of the Iranian rhetoric talking about the U.S., that there could be a risk to our forces," end quote. U.S. troops in the Middle East have come under attack more than 150 times by Iranian-backed militants in the wake of the 7 October Hamas attacks. The attacks have slowed significantly since 3 American service members were killed in a militant drone strike in Jordan in January, prompting retaliatory actions from the U.S. in Iraq and Syria. Coming up after the break, as Iran ramps up their threats against Israel and the U.S., it's facing its own internal strife as Sunni Muslim militants carry out attacks targeting IRGC forces. I'll be right back. Welcome back to the Afternoon Bulletin. Israel isn't the only concern for Iran when it comes to attacks on their Revolutionary Guard Corps. According to reports from Iranian state media, Sunni militants launched a pair of simultaneous attacks on Iranian security forces in the province of Sistan-Baluchistan on Thursday, killing at least 27 people. Now, Sistan-Baluchistan sits on Iran's southeastern border with Pakistan, and it's been causing them trouble for quite some time. While Iran is a Shiite majority country, Sistan-Baluchistan is a majority Sunni province and home to a number of active Islamist organizations. The region is notorious for ongoing conflicts involving security forces, Sunni militants, and drug traffickers. According to reports, the attackers were attempting to seize IRGC headquarters in 2 towns. According to Iran's deputy interior minister, The militants did not achieve their objective and eventually retreated. He went on to call the attacks, quote, an act of terrorism. And he said that without any sense of irony. In addition to the fatalities, at least 10 security officers were reportedly injured. Iran has blamed the attack on a group called Jaish al-Adl, or Army of Justice. The group, which draws its membership largely from the ethnic Baluchi minority, claims to fight for greater rights and better living conditions for Baluchis in the Shiite-dominated country, and has been responsible for numerous attacks against Iranian security forces. Jaish al-Adl has carried out dozens of operations over the years against Iranian military forces, particularly the IRGC, including cross-border attacks and abductions of border guards and security personnel, as well as bombings targeting civilians. The group appears to be upping the ante over the past several months, executing a number of attacks on IRGC bases and vehicles this past December and January. A retaliatory action by Iran in January included missile strikes on 2 Jaish al-Adl bases in Pakistan, leading to a counterstrike from Islamabad. The tit-for-tat has led to a souring of relations recently between Iran and Pakistan. And that, my friends, is the PDB Afternoon Bulletin for Thursday, 4 April. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me at pdb@thefirsttv.com. And be sure to check out our new premium membership at pdbpremium.com. I'm Mike Baker, and I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, stay informed, stay safe, stay cool.